the Middle East has once again become the center of global tension as Iran launches a powerful and coordinated attack on Israel, sending shockwaves across the world and leaving the United States deeply worried about the future of the region. The conflict began after months of rising hostility, military warnings, and intelligence reports suggesting that a major confrontation was imminent. When the attack finally came, Iran unleashed a massive wave of ballistic missiles and drones targeting several Israeli military bases and strategic locations. Air raid sirens echoed across Israeli cities as people rushed into underground shelters, while Israel's air defense systems worked tirelessly to intercept the incoming missiles. Despite these defenses, several explosions were reported, creating scenes of panic and destruction. The sudden intensity of the attack immediately drew global attention and placed the United States on high alert. As the situation escalated, Iranian forces reportedly launched hundreds of missiles and thousands of drones during the first days of the conflict, targeting not only Israel, but also American military facilities. Across the Middle East, U.S. officials confirmed that Iran had attempted strikes on several bases where American troops are stationed, raising fears of a broader regional war. Military analysts believe Iran's strategy was designed to overwhelm air defense systems by launching large numbers of projectiles simultaneously, making interception more difficult. The scale of the operation shocked many experts, who described it as one of the largest missile attacks ever carried out in the region. According to reports, Iran fired around 500 missiles and nearly 2,000 drones in the early phase of the conflict, demonstrating its growing military capabilities and determination to retaliate against its enemies. Al Jazeera. Inside Israel, the government quickly declared a nationwide state of emergency. Schools were closed, public gatherings were banned, and tens of thousands of reserve soldiers were mobilized to prepare for further attacks. Hospitals moved many operations underground to protect patients from possible missile strikes. While the Israeli military intensified its defensive and offensive operations, the Israeli leadership warned that Iran's actions represented a direct threat to the country's survival and vowed to respond with overwhelming force if the attacks continued, as Israeli fighter jets launched counterstrikes against Iranian positions and military infrastructure. The conflict rapidly expanded into a dangerous cycle of retaliation. Meanwhile, in Washington, the United States government watched the situation with growing concern. American intelligence agencies warned that the conflict could spiral into a full-scale regional war involving multiple countries. The United States maintains military bases and thousands of troops across the Middle East, and any major conflict between Iran and Israel could put those forces at serious risk. U.S. officials began coordinating closely with Israel, while also preparing defensive measures to protect American interests. Warships and aircraft carriers in the region were placed on high alert, and additional missile defense systems were deployed to safeguard key military facilities. One of the biggest concerns for the United States is the potential impact of the conflict on global stability and the world economy. The Middle East is home to some of the most important oil shipping routes, and any disruption could trigger major economic consequences worldwide. Already, tensions in the region have caused significant anxiety in energy markets, with oil prices rising as fears grow that shipping routes like the Strait of Hormuz could be disrupted. Experts warn that if the conflict expands further, it could affect fuel prices, global trade, and the economic stability of many countries. The Guardian. The United States is also worried about the possibility that other regional actors might join the conflict. Countries and armed groups allied with Iran could launch attacks against Israel or American forces, turning the crisis into a much larger war. Intelligence reports have suggested that Iran maintains strong connections with various groups across the region, and these groups could become involved if the situation continues to escalate. For this reason, American military commanders are closely monitoring the region and preparing for multiple scenarios, including the possibility of coordinated attacks against U.S. allies. Another factor increasing Washington's anxiety is the unpredictability of Iran's next move. Military experts believe that Iran may still have many advanced weapons that have not yet been used in the conflict. Some analysts warn that Iran could attempt cyber attacks, naval operations, or additional missile barrages to pressure Israel and its allies. Such actions could quickly push the conflict beyond Israel's borders and threaten American forces. directly. U.S. officials have repeatedly warned Iran that any attack on American troops would provoke a strong response, making the situation even more dangerous. As the conflict continues, the international community is urging both sides to show restraint and avoid further escalation. Several countries have called for immediate negotiations and diplomatic efforts to prevent a wider war. However, tensions remain extremely high, and both Iran and Israel appear determined to defend their interests. Each new missile launch, airstrike, or military movement increases the risk that the conflict could expand beyond control. For now, the world watches anxiously as events unfold in the Middle East. The Iranian attack on Israel has already changed the strategic balance of the region and created deep uncertainty about what will